Lovely. Okay, so we're flattening out a bit. So let's get going. A few minutes past. Okay, welcome everybody. Firstly, from me, an apology. So those who haven't met me before, I'm Ellie Cheshire, by the way. I'm General Manager at Governor Hub. Apologies for me. It's my fault we've moved this on a week. We were going to do this last week, but as you can probably hear, I'm very croaky. I flew over Christmas. I've been really poorly and I'm only just back to work. So if I do start coughing, do forgive me, but I'm really sorry. We moved this on a week. We are recording it though. So if anyone you know couldn't make it today, we will send the recording out to everybody. And obviously you can pass that on to anybody who might find this interesting. So yeah, apologies from me. If I do get a bit croaky and disappear, you know why. I have also brought Hannah Cullen with me. She is our design engineer, and so when my voice runs out, she's going to take over and do the demo for us. So yes, hi everybody. Today was better for you. Good, Francis. Well, there you go. I do have Lemsip on standby. Absolutely. Good stuff. All right, so welcome everybody. Let's get going. Today we're talking about board effectiveness, and you will note I'm calling it board effectiveness rather than look at our new skills audit, and this is very, very deliberate. Right, let me just move on my slides. I want to give you a bit of background. This is a demo today. We just want to show you the new tool, walk you around it. Most of the people here are all governance professionals or support services. So we want to make sure that as the admins of your groups that you really know what's happening and you can walk your way through it and help your boards use this tool nice and properly. It would be crazy, however, if I didn't give you some background, because I think as all is important, going right back to why we're doing this is always important when we launch any new feature. So I'll give you a little bit of a blurb just for the next 10 minutes or so, and then Hannah's going to walk you through the tool. Hi, guys. Lovely to see you all. Hi, Catherine. Okay, so I've popped this up here. Governance is changing, always has done, always will do. The sector moves and changes with whoever's making the decision and whatever needs to be done. I've pulled these out from the governance guides, these quote, because they're different but the same for each side of governance. We met with the DfE some time ago talking about we're going to update the skills audit and this is what we're going to do. And the DfE at the time said, look, this is so hard. Because what really does make an effective board, it's really difficult to prove, to evidence, to actually kind of pin down. And we quite agreed with them. And I think what's interesting here is looking at the governance guides is the language they're pulling out and they're using these days. You're talking about being committed and having time for the role, and they're actually thinking about unnecessary workload. And it's these things that it's not just about, do I know every last detail about governance? I know a lot about governance. I've been working in governance a rather long time now. But I know as a chair of governors, it doesn't matter how much I know when I'm sat in that room and something's happened that I haven't come across before, or people leave and you're trying to fill those seats up and all that. It's really difficult. And actually to transfer the skills that you might have into actually doing a good job for your board, it's often really tough. And it's really difficult. I find it difficult, and I expect a lot of your board members do too. So what's interesting is we're really trying to not reinvent the wheel, not copy what's out there at the moment. We've actually gone back to basics and think, what are we really trying to get at? And I think what we're really trying to get at is how a group of people work together to do one job and do it well. And that's what we're trying to hit. And I think what's interesting is the DfE actually archived their competency frameworks, didn't they? I say last year now, because we're in January. Last year seems so much longer ago. And I think that's really interesting because I don't know about you, everything in those competency frameworks was absolutely spot on. Really, really important information, absolutely right. But being faced with a book on this is what a good governor is really quite scary for your average Joe doing this job. And I think it's really telling that the DfE said, okay, yeah, this is all important stuff, but actually it's not really doing the job we want it to. So I think we've got a poll. Polly's in the background somewhere, and magically at some point, there you go, a poll appears. And I'd like you all to answer this if you may. It's a simple question. how effective are your boards? Now, whether you're a clerk or governance professional of multiple boards, whether you're just sat on one board, or whether you're a support service dealing with many boards, it'd be really great if you could answer this for us, please, right now. So are all your boards really effective? Do they range? Are they all ineffective? Or actually, is it quite hard to tell? I'm going to answer mine. There you go. So Polly, I don't know, presumably you'll help me know what the answers are and whether people have done this.
Yeah, so we're nearly there. I think it's only myself that can see this on the screen.
Oh, I was to say, I can't. Okay, drum roll.
I wonder if I press end poll, whether everybody else will see it. But I will give you a clue. At the moment, they are all effective, is 21%. There are a range of ineffective to effective is 65, so that's the majority. Thankfully, they are all ineffective is 0%.
Nice.
And, I find it hard to tell is 15%.
Yeah, absolutely. And isn't that interesting? You've got, actually it is hard to tell, isn't it? We can tick all those boxes. We can have the right people around the table, but actually moving from we've got people, oh, there it is, got people doing the job to, and what impact are we having? How effective are we truly is really tough. And yeah, look, 65%, they range from ineffective to effective. My board absolutely is on a journey from the duff end to the good end. We're getting there, but it's a long job. So I think this is really interesting. And I think this is what's important today. What we're trying to do is really support you guys in A, actually knowing how well your board are doing, and B, giving you something to hang your hat on and say, right, this is what we're going to develop. And I know people find it hard in boards. They find it hard to be honest about what they can and can't do. But I think what's really important here is that actually having something to work on, working on it and being able to evidence that you're working on it is more important almost than the outcome. Right, next slide. We believe, so let's say at Governor Hub believe that effective boards, if you've got a board that's working really well, your board should be aware of the skills and experiences and capacity, needs, all those sort of things of the other people on your board. We need to understand this group of people, what's it made up of, where are our strengths, and where are our weaknesses. We also think that what's really important is you've got to have that plan. What are we developing? How are we keeping the good stuff, and how are we getting everything better? We also want to know about real-time gaps. We want to know what's happening at the moment. Are we recruiting according to gaps we really need? And don't get me wrong, I do understand that sometimes it's just about getting bums on seats at times. I've been in that position over the past couple of years. But even if we're only worried about let's get the people in first and then we'll build them up, we still need to know where the gaps are on that board so that we can adjust when we're making decisions. And I think the important thing, and this is where I believe that Governor Hub steps in quite nicely, is that what we're really trying to do is evidence that we're doing this. When you get that knock on the door, when you need to prove your compliance, when somebody says, are you an effective board? And you say, oh, yes, we definitely are. And they say, well, prove it. Where's that evidence that can say, look, this is the plan we're doing? Oh, let me go back one. An honest question for you all. I won't do this on a poll, but who enjoys doing skills audits? It's great to have done. We know we need to do it. We want to follow it up. Nope, yep, exactly. It's a pain, right? It's a fiddle. You've got to persuade everybody to do it, for starters. Make sure they've all done it. Then somebody, might be you, might be somebody else on the board, ends up having to analyse it and add it all together and find out where the gaps are. And then, yes, hopefully, Sarah, you take it to the board and it is thought-provoking and it does get people to think about what do we need to improve. But I know any jobs like this is hard to get done. Now, 2022, this has been a long time. We've been working on it all this time, believe it or not. I know I've been promising the upgraded skills audit for a long time and it's finally here, which is great. We will cover that, Sarah, don't worry, we'll come through to that. In 2022, I noticed a project that Andrew Clapham from Nottingham Trent University and Governors for Schools, the recruitment guys, did together. And they did a really great research project, lots of people, lots of governors. And it kind of came up with the fact that skills audits can be a really blunt instrument. Do they really give us what they need? And what's most important is this idea of self-efficacy. Am I being effective on the board? And therefore, is the board being effective as a whole? And it's about effectiveness rather than just counting what we know. I might be the world's best HR expert, but I also may not be able to challenge what I'm hearing on the board. So, you know, those nuances are really important. Now, there's plenty more information on here, but we work with Andrew Clapham. We've been working with him since to take advantage of the research he's already done and to talk more. So we've also done more focus groups, more questionnaires. Hopefully lots of you on the call today have probably joined in with that too. Thank you to everybody who did. And what we've come up basically with Andrew is using these 6 key characteristics that actually make those board effective. So you'll see when Hannah does the demo, she can show you that you've got these 6 areas: committing, contributing, leading, aspiring, evaluating, analysing and monitoring. And it's those 6 things that we analyse it together and say, look, this is what makes the difference of the board. And that's it. So the skills audit is one little aspect of what we're trying to do here. We do understand that you kind of need to assess these gaps and keep these up. But what we've tried to do is really go back to basics and think, what are the jobs you're doing with this information? What are you going to, how are you going to use it? What are the things you're trying to fix? And let's see if we can help you. So we are reshaping the traditional skills audit. And what we're trying to do, and I've put this up here, very open and honest, because if we haven't done this, we want you to feedback and tell us. And that's really important. We're hoping to sort of get rid of that ineffectiveness. If you are collating information you're doing nothing with, we want to get rid of that. We often find that people find this stuff dull. People that are filling it in and say, why am I doing this? It takes ages. What are we doing with it? We're trying to banish that. We're trying to take time away. We don't want you all adding up spreadsheets and doing all that stuff. We want to do all that for you. We want to reflect what really happens on the board. The fact that you've got a group of people with different skills, different qualities, different experience, and yet you've all got to come together and do this really important job. And we want to make sure that you can focus on action. Make sure that you're not spending loads of time doing other stuff. That's what we're trying to do. Make sure you tell us if we don't. And this is how we've done it. We have tried to really simplify. Now, it's a really important thing to notice. We are collecting skills and experience and effectiveness, but we've tried to do it in the most simple way possible. This should take no longer than 5-10 minutes for anyone to do. You should be able to do it if you've got a board that brings their computers with them for meetings, to say, right, 5 minutes, let's all do it now before we do the meeting. And that should really be nice and easy and simple. So we want to make it really simple. Now, unlike the rest of governance that's all dividing off here, and we need to be bespoke here and bespoke here, think about, is it the same for local boards in a MAT? Is it the same for a maintained school? Is it the same for a trust board? What we've actually done here is try to produce a one-size-fits-all job, which is unusual, I know, but I think it's really important. We'll be measuring effectiveness across the whole of England. We've seen where everybody's dialing in from today. With this data, we're going to have a really strong view of how all our boards across England differ. So we've deliberately tried to keep this simple. Whether you're on a maintained school board, a local governing board of a MAT, or a SAT trust board, or a MAT trust board, you can fill this in as a member of that board. We have deliberately only shown this, so you will only be able to see the board effectiveness tool to fill it in if you're a member of the constitution on that board. We've done that deliberately. You don't want the SBM that uploads some documents every now and again to fill it in. And you also don't want to be told when you're reminding people to remind these people they don't really have to do it. So we've really focused anyone in the constitution, so therefore is fully fledged member of the board, and associate members too, because they're important too. They will be able to fill this in. So you've got a really nice, accurate board effectiveness score. Really simple for all types of governors. Now, I know that as soon as you start using it, every one of you can say, that's well and good, but could we have a question on such and such? And I'm at church school, so I just want to add this. And could we also ask about that? And we're going to be really tough on this and say, no, we're basically keeping these core questions about what makes a board effectiveness. There is loads of other stuff around it, all the skills, all the details, what you know, what you don't know, what you've read, what you haven't, that you can do in other ways. But we're really trying to be tough and saying that this is for all boards. Now, again, feedback. If it doesn't work and you think that we've really missed a trick, let us know. But we've worked really hard, and we do think we're doing well. So yeah, we're focusing on what really matters. Really, we're going beyond just counting skills. We're thinking about what makes an effective board. We'll monitor the individual's effectiveness. So somebody mentioned thought-provoking, absolutely. So if you've got individuals on boards that fill it out, hopefully it will give them something to think about themselves. What do I need to improve? What am I really low on? And then you've got the amalgamated board view, which is what's really important. How effective is your board? So we can monitor that too. And as a board, you can work together to do that. We're also using this for succession planning, that lovely phrase that we hear all the time and know for a fact when your chair steps down and everyone goes, "Oh, not me." It's a bit of a panic. Succession planning is really important, and we hope that this is really going to help highlight the gaps, highlight the people coming through, to really help people keep that front of mind for the governors. We also want to see who has experience in relevant jobs. So especially as governance professionals, when you need to fill a panel with people that know what they're doing, you need to know who those people are, really quick, smart. So we'll show you how to do that too. And it's all on Governor Hub. Look, we know that boards don't want to log in here, there, everywhere to do all these different things. So what's really important is that it's all in one place. It's all right where you are. It's front of mind. So we can't sort of forget about it and just sort of squirrel it away in a folder somewhere and not do it. This is like right up there for doing it. So in essence, what we're trying to do, we want to help boards understand where they are now, find the areas they need to improve that's most important, and plan for the future. And hopefully at the same time, we're also helping you guys know what, who, where, when, all in one hit. Without, what I'm trying to do basically is just banish those spreadsheets if I can for you. Okay. We're now going to do a demo. I want to make it really clear. Same slide, same. Where are we? Oh, good stuff. I'm going to get Hannah on now. She's going to give you a bit of a demo in the next sort of 15 minutes. And then I'll be back again to answer any questions. I'll go through and check I haven't missed anything. So yeah, over to you, Hannah.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Ellie, can you see that okay?
I can. Perfect.
Fantastic. Okay, so Governor Hub's new board effectiveness tool sits within the governing board area, which might be called trust board or local board, depending on your school. And then you click on this new effectiveness tab here. And at this point, you should see an overview of your board's current effectiveness. But if not, don't worry, there's a couple of reasons why. So firstly, this tool is part of our knowledge package. So if you see this message, please contact our lovely support team who'll be happy to help. Secondly, the tool is set up so that only members of the Constitution and associate board members can fill it out. So if your Constitution isn't set up, you can follow this help article and that will get you back on track. And lastly, it might simply be that no one's completed it yet, in which case you'll see this 0% completed here. Okay, so here's the chart that provides the summary of everyone's results, and it's broken down into those 6 sections that Ellie mentioned before. And we'll explore this page and these tabs a little later. First, I'd like to show you how to fill out the tool. Now, if I was a trustee for the Nest Academy completing my own effectiveness, then I'd see a button just here above View All that would be called Your Effectiveness, and I could click on that. But as I'm an admin and I'm not on the Constitution, I don't see that option. Now, we understand there's times where, as an admin, you might need to complete the tool alongside a governor or trustee. So if you click here on View All, you will see the list of governors and trustees who've completed it. And for the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to imagine that Sally would like me, as the admin of her board, to help her complete it. So I can click Sally's name and I can click Start to launch the tool. And the form's broken down into those 6 efficacy sections we've mentioned before. And governors and trustees are able to rank themselves by simply clicking on the appropriate point on the scale. Now, our aim with this is for governors to reflect while they complete it. So for Sally, she admits that actually she finds it really hard to motivate others on her team, and she really struggles to have difficult conversations. You can see that the tool is quick and easy to fill out. And if Sally changes her mind, I can simply click elsewhere on the scale. If Sally wasn't sure what this statement meant, we can click on this blue eye for more information and to find that as a trustee, she needs to answer this question about her trust as a whole. So when you click next, you'll see the second section of the form, which focuses on skills, training and experience. Now you remember that I said Sally hadn't completed her effectiveness yet, but you'll notice that this section is pre-populated. That's because Sally sits on another board and Governor Hub automatically pulls through these details, so skills, training and experience. It will not pull through efficacies as we felt they're very unique to individual boards. So click submit. Just be aware that when you do click submit, if you did want to make any changes, then you need to fill out the form again. And that's a really intentional decision because that way we can use it for benchmarking. So this is where the magic happens. Oh no. Hang on. I've got the curse of the demo. Aha! It's back. Hoorah! Okay, we're all right.
Curse of the demo strikes. Hannah, I don't know if can you make your window any bigger? Somebody who's saying it's quite small. Is there any?
Yeah, I can see if I can zoom in. Yeah, sure. How's that? Is that better? I
think so. Yeah. Is that better? Yeah. Lovely.
Okay, so I cursed it by saying this is where the magic happens. That's why. Anyway, this is a summary of just Sally's results. So I'm able to click on a segment and I can see her responses. I can also click through skills, training and experience. So if I click the cross here, I can now go back to that screen where I see who's completed it. And I'm able to send a reminder to people who haven't done it yet. So hopefully you'll be doing much less bribing to fill it out. And most importantly, as an admin, I'm able to click on individual governors and I can see their results. I can click to see their efficacies. It's really important to note that it is only admins that can see these results. Other governors and trustees will not. So back to the chart. So this is an amalgamation of all the members of the Constitution who've submitted their results. So there's no more fiddly, time-consuming, and let's be honest, boring, dull analysis. So from simply looking at the chart, we're able to quickly identify those areas of the board that are most and least effective. So where the larger green segments, they indicate where the board's effective, and these smaller red segments indicate where it's less effective. So we can see for the Nest Academy, analysing and monitoring is an area which is less effective. I can click on the segment, which reveals further information. And I can see from the table that actually this is quite a board-wide issue. So I'd be logging that as training that we need to be able to improve how the trustees feel that they can monitor. And just before I close that, everyone on the board, including non-governors, are able to see this table. It is anonymised, and so you won't be able to identify who's said what. Skills, training and experience, however, they are not anonymised, so that will all be shown. So these 3 sections we really hope will be a real game changer for you, because we know how many have spreadsheets you have of succession planning, who can do a complaints panel, and this is now in Governor Hub and updated in real time. So as a map governance professional, I might be looking on this board for somebody who can sit on a suspension panel, and I can quickly and easily see who has experience, and who feels confident. Training. So in this section, we hope that it'll help you to plan ahead, to identify who needs what. And if I expand this data analysis section, I can see who'd like training, who doesn't feel they need it, and who hasn't yet completed it. And if we think back to the chart earlier, which identified analysing and monitoring as an area of weakness, it's actually really reassuring to see that this is the area that is the most requested training. So lastly, experience. Now we know that an effective board has a range of experience, but we also know there might be occasions where specific experience is really important. So perhaps the Nest Academy is at risk of closure because of pupil numbers. So we really need to recruit a trustee with marketing experience to help boost those pupil numbers. So there we have it. That's our new board effectiveness tool. Ellie, I will stop sharing and hand back to you.
Can you all see that? That's the demo. And I'm moving on. Have I moved on to some more info? Hopefully I have. I can't see it on my screens, you see, so there you go. Right, so I'm going to answer some of the questions and then we'll keep going. But some more info here. So we've got Help Centre articles up in the help area on Governor Hub, any page, just click on the help, whether you're logged in or not. You've got some FAQs in there, which should cover everything that you need. You should also got a user guide that you can share with your board. And there is a guide for admins too, just to remind you everything that we've been through. We hope that we've covered everything. Of course, always drop us a line in the chat if we've missed anything. There's also an article on Knowledge as well about measuring board effectiveness in general. And in there, we have a download of the questions that we have in the tool. Now, we have designed this for everyone on the board to do it in Governor Hub. They can fill it all in themselves. It all gets analysed automatically, and then you can have a look at the results. But we do know that there will be a governor on your board that doesn't want to use a computer, can't fill it in, can't log in, and all those sort of stuff. So we do have a download of the questions. If you do need to get the board member to fill it in on a bit of paper, you can, and then you can actually fill them in yourself. So you can, or some, an admin on the board, basically, not necessarily you, can go in, click on the view all, click on that person's name, and you can fill it in for them. And just to be really clear, for total transparency, the bit, I don't know if Hannah showed you where it says you last filled this out on January the 16th, it will say filled out by, and it will have your name rather than the governor's name, just to be really clear so that everybody knows who's done what. So great, there's that one too. So you've got all those links in there. Next steps and questions. So I'm going to answer a couple of the questions now in this next 5 minutes. I've seen people going on there and talking about other skills audits that they already use. We intend this to do the job for you, and that you don't need to go anywhere else for a different skills audit, another skills audit, or what have you. However, obviously this is your choice. You can choose what skills audits, what evaluation tools that you use, and do everything to suit you. The DfE say you should evaluate the effectiveness of your board regularly. It doesn't say how often, it doesn't say how, so do it to suit your board. We hope that this will suit everybody, but again, let us know. Somebody asked about frequency. How often do we have to do it? It's entirely up to you. If you've got a really effective board that you think are absolutely flying, you might want to do this once a year. You might want to do it every June or something, ready for the next year, so you can plan your improvements across the year. You might have a board that actually, like mine, is on a real trajectory of getting better. This might be a good thing to do every term, every half a term, to ensure that actually things are moving and that you're evidencing that. So it is entirely up to your board. And I would say, think about the questions someone might ask if they want to come in and scrutinise, and that hopefully will lead you to it. So yes, there was lots of notes about other skills audits, and when we're asking about personal qualities, and there's questions that everybody says yes to. What's the point of those? Quite agree. We think what we've done here is actually really try to get to the nub of what makes an effective board and what is difficult. So again, always feedback. If you're finding that no matter who you ask, these questions are always the same, again, drop us a line. It's really important. We've tested this on lots of boards, but of course, until we really get everybody going, it's difficult to see. So do feedback. Anonymity, that's really important. I know that Hannah mentioned it, so hopefully you have answered the question anyway, but I do want to repeat it. We want users to be honest and not feel vulnerable. So for their efficacies, the bit with the slidey scales, where it says things like, I'm able to speak up in a group, or, I know what I need to do. I understand my own strengths and weaknesses. We want people to be honest. So those, the user themselves can see their own, and the admin can see their own, but the rest of the board can't. We then amalgamate and just show the numbers. However, the skills, I want training in, I know HR from my job role, those sorts of things, they're a yes or a no. So for those, everybody can see, and we hope that really does help. Everybody be honest. There's a mention about clerks. Are clerks included? They actually aren't. We've really tried to think about, this is a board effectiveness tool. And whilst we totally know that unless your clerk's effective, your board won't be effective, we think this is a different thing. So there are other ways to evaluate how you're doing as clerk, and hopefully you're using those with your chairs. Do look on Knowledge, there's plenty on there too. But for this particular tool, it is just the governing board, and we hope that's okay. If, as time goes on, you think we need one of these for clerks, again, drop us a line. That's really great. Reminders. People were saying, can we remove those we don't want to remind in the list? Hopefully that will really help, because what we've done is only do this for those on the Constitution. So your reminder will only remind the people that haven't done it on the Constitution. So it shouldn't be flying out to anyone it shouldn't. At this point, it is worth noting, however, that some governors go into their settings, into their notification settings and all that in Governor Hub, and they select to get every email that's sent out. So on that sliding scale in Governor Hub, you go into your own profile and you can choose for each of your boards how much of the notifications you get. If your governors have chose, I want every last bit of information, they will get the reminders even if it isn't for them. And sometimes we get people say, well, I've done it and I've been reminded. It's not fair. And what it is, it's because you've actually asked that every email that's been sent out by that board comes to you. So you might just need to get people to notch that down if that's happening. I hope I've explained that well. Again, if not, let me know. Does training tally? Yes, it really does. We've, in Governor Hub Knowledge, the training courses that we have, we've really tried to focus on the must-haves, the ones that are really important for all boards to do. And as such, when you've got all those I'd like training in bits, for those of you that don't, yes, you can use our knowledge training and that should tally. This is sort of, we call it P1. This is first version of our board effectiveness tool. We are already working on the new things that come next and next and next. One of those things is that in the training area, we will link to our training courses, so that's really cutting down that time, getting people to the information they need. So hopefully that will help and you'll be able to see that coming through. Other things that are coming, I think somebody's just asked in there, is a map view. So you can each on your boards as a governance professional, you can go and look at all your boards. The next job is for Mats, so that we can get the governance professional, the governance lead in Mats to be able to see across all boards. And that's being worked on now. So that will be out in the next iteration. I think that's going to be very complicated to do. So watch this space. So yeah, lots more coming out. But hopefully this will get you all off and running. Oh, somebody asked about a download too. That's really important. That's coming in this next iteration too. So you'll be able to download and file. And then the next year when you do it, or the next term when you do it, you can compare. That's coming out too. The get all emails toggle. Yes, I can. Basically, if any user goes to the name in the top right of the screen, goes into settings. I'm just going to do it now so I'm not telling you lies. Click on your name, click on profile and go to settings. And in there's an email and notifications. and you can choose how many notifications you're getting there. So again, if you have trouble finding that, drop us a line in the chat and we will help. Right, where are we at? Am I sharing my screen still? Am I sharing my screen still, Hannah?
Yes, you are, Ellie.
Good, because I want to put this up. Now, we can stand up here and say we think this is a great tool. We've worked really hard on it. We're very proud of it, and we hope it really works. We've started using it in our boards already, but it's really nice seeing things like this. There's Richard. I don't know you, Richard. Maybe you're here, maybe you're not.
Sorry, Ellie, you're sharing the wrong screen.
Oh.
We can still.
I've not done one on this. Is it this one? Is that better?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Richard, don't know who he is. Thank you very much if he's here. But this popped up on social media the other day. Some eagle-eyed person in our company found it. I think it's just really important. It's nice to hear from people that are using it. And this is really important. We need to know from you if it's working too. So at any given moment, drop us a line in on the blue chat. Let us know how it's going. Let us know if you think there's anything missing. Let us know if something doesn't work. But hopefully this will really save you some time and some faff and some pain. But yeah, so there we are. I think I've covered everything. We will go through the chat after this session's finished. We will send out a recording, and we will also send back a feedback questionnaire, really quick to do. Please, please, please fill it in because it's really important for us to make sure we get things right when we do these sessions. So I will have a look at these questions over the next few minutes. We've finished 5 minutes early. How be that? Who should be contacted for knowledge? Just drop us a line in the chat button. So any screen on Governor Hub, you've got the little speech bubble at the bottom right-hand side. Click on there and talk to us. It comes through to all of us. So we'll be able to help. Lovely to, well, I was going to say see you all, but hear from you all. It's good to see some familiar faces there. Good stuff. Glad you like it. Let us know. And thanks for coming.